Hi Sebastian, this is Danny Wild, talking to you from Los Angeles, California. I'm here to answer your questions. Sorry for the long delay, I've just been super busy. So your first question is, how and when did I start making porn movies? First pornographic film, or I guess video I was in was back in 2005, probably. Yeah, it's been about 4 years. I was a student at UC Santa Cruz, which is in the Bay Area of California. And it was the first year I was out of my parents' house, so didn't have any money, and I was trying to find a regular job. So I don't know if you guys have Craigslist in Europe. It's a online community to try to sell and trade things, and you have put job listings and so forth. What was going on there? Applying for like barista jobs, bookstore clerks, stuff like that, and no one was really getting back to me. I didn't actually finish high school, so it's kind of hard without a diploma and a GED. So anyways, I started doing nude modeling for art classes. I would sit and then pose for about 15 minutes at a time. Students would draw me, and so that just got me comfortable with being naked. At the same time, I started studying film theory, which I'm a film student right now, and I was beginning at the time. So I was studying this feminist film theorist named Laura Mulvey, and her idea was basically, at least in one article that she wrote, or essay, her idea in one essay that she wrote was that Hollywood cinema was inherently sort of from this male perspective, and it took away women's, what is the word she used? Well, it was all from this male perspective. It had talked about the sadistic male gaze, took away a woman's agency, meaning like her narrative drive in the film, and anything the woman did was because of this male. And I was thinking, well, at least hetero-pornography is sort of like the epitome of that. We're definitely putting women into this sort of sexual objects, or at least that's what I thought at the time. So during writing an essay on Laura Mulvey, I was going on Craigslist looking for jobs, and I found this interesting offer under Gigs, which is like the one-time job thing under Craigslist, and it was for a pornographic site. It was sort of BDSM oriented, and they were switching the roles, so it's like a female domination thing. So the man would be submissive, the woman would top him, and so forth. And I was pretty adventurous at the time. I was a little curious about S&M anyway. I played around a little bit with that in my personal life, so I decided to give it a go. And it was probably the most professional company I have worked with then or since. And so it was a lot of fun. People were nice to me. I got paid more than at a normal job. And the following week they called me back to do this trip up in Napa for like a week-long thing, like 5 days. Every day you'd shoot. So I made more money in that week than I had on all previous jobs over at least that amount of time. So I thought, why the fuck would I get a normal job, you know? So I started looking into other companies. They're mostly gay companies in the Bay Area, so I don't know, I did some gay work, solo stuff, and then I met my ex-girlfriend, Dana D'Armond, through that company, and through the first company I worked for. They're called Kink.com. You can probably find them on the internet right now. And she introduced me to people in Los Angeles, and so I moved down here. Okay, so this next question is, did you take into consideration that especially nowadays, porn is more open to the public and friends, colleagues made it easier to identify you? Honestly, the first video I did, it was for that S&M company. I thought it was fairly niche as far as like who's going to see that. So I honestly didn't think, I thought I was going to do it once. It would be like a cool experience, and then I just sort of, and I would filter out to the internet. Yeah, maybe someday someone might find it, but I don't know. I changed my looks a little bit from back then. Like, you used to have black hair and so forth. So I didn't consider it. The more I did it, yeah, I had to like, there had to be a decision at some point where like, okay, now this is like your job, and I mean, I'm pretty open with people anyways about it. I mean, all my friends at school, everyone who knows me knows what I do. Even professors, I've started to write. I mean, a lot of my academic studies deal with sex work and sexually marginalized people. So at this point, it's more like a lifestyle thing. Even though I don't plan to do it forever, I'm actually, shortly as in a few years, trying to get out of it after I graduate school, just because I don't think, because it's a physical job, it's not something you can do forever. But I think there's a lot of positive aspects of pornography, and the fact that people know that about me. I mean, there's obviously a lot of stigma attached to it in certain communities, but I try to stick to fairly like-minded liberal people as far as my friends, and I don't know if I can say that for colleagues, because I haven't worked much outside of the porn industry since then. I don't know how they're going to react. I guess we'll wait and see. I know most people watch porn, so I think it's going to be hard to really put me down for it. But at the same time, people have one opinion and they do something else, and that's just how the world works, so we'll see. Alright, your next question is, how does the porn industry use social networking websites? Does talent get booked or recruited via those platforms? As far as booking talent, the most common way to do that is through an agency. There are about, say, 5 big or bigger agencies in Los Angeles, California, that have pornographic talent. So I don't know, I mean, people find these agencies through various means, but for the most part, there's like an agent that represents you. The companies who want to book you call this agent, and they get the fee, et cetera, so you don't have to deal with the business end of it. The agent calls you, tells you this is when you're working. As far as like MySpace, Facebook, and all those social networking sites, people do recruit talent through there, but usually when they're pretty new. I have a friend, Ian Mackay, who runs a sub-label of Vivid called Vivid Alt. It's sort of marketed towards alternative youth culture, over 18, of course. He has a lot of girls who hit him up because they found content through the internet or other means. They really like the style and aesthetic of his films, so they're like really interested in doing this. It's usually the alternative girls, so it's sort of like girls you might see on suicidegirls.com or something like that. They're usually pierced or tattooed, or at least come from some sort of alternative music subculture, whether that's like punk or metal, or I don't know what all the genres are these days, but something in there, like just indie rock maybe. So a lot of those girls actually hit him up for work, and they may not have an agent at the time. And I know like some smaller, there's so much amateur content on the net, and probably smaller production companies use those means to find people. I think there's a social networking site specifically for the adult industry called xpeeps.com, and I don't know how much work people actually get through that, but there's some sort of community going on there, and it's mostly for amateur performers. Once you make a step to like, okay, this is what I want to do, even for a small amount of time, it's like, you want to go with an agent. It's just going to get you out there more.